Hello everyone, this is Lam here. In today's Adobe Wednesday, I want to talk about how you can do slow motion and also how you can do a freeze frame. These things are really easy to do in Adobe Premiere Pro, so let's go ahead, jump right in and see how you can do it. So as you can see, I have Adobe Premiere Pro open and I also have 3 clips. One of them is a 4K clip in which I'm just going to drag in right here. So this is my 4K clip that I start off my vlog with, and the other 2 are 1080p clips that are at 120 frames per second. If I go ahead and go over to this clip, as you can see, it's a 1080p clip, so it's going to be smaller than the 4K clip. In order to fix this issue, we're going to go ahead and upscale it. All you need to do is right click and then you just click scale to frame, and this will make it into a 4K clip. Of course, when you actually scale it up to a 4K clip, you might actually introduce artifacts because you are scaling a 1080p clip, but that's something that I'm okay with. If it's not, then you're going to have to output out the 1080p on all of your 4K clips. So it'll be the reverse in terms of scaling. So let's go ahead and see how you can actually do slow motion on this. We'll just go ahead, do a quick play of it. So that is a clip going at full speed. Let's go ahead and slow it down. Now I know for a fact that this is a 128p clip, so I can actually slow it down to 25% speed, and then that'll get me to about 30p. I always output all of my 4K clips into 30p, not 24. That's just a personal preference of mine, but if you are at 24p, you can slow it down even more if you so wish. So the first way to do it is actually the easiest way to do it. You can just right click to it, go to speed and duration, and you can just type in 25% because I know this is a 120p clip. And then from here, you'll notice that it's already going to be nice and smooth, and then you can actually just use this clip right here. Now this specific way is really useful if you actually want to keep the sound in sync with your video. Of course, the sound's going to slow down because it has to be in sync with your video, so it's not going to be quite as fast, but if you actually overdub it with music, it doesn't sound all that bad, and sometimes it's just a really good way of actually signifying that this is a slow motion video. Now I'm going to hit Control Z, I'm going to bring it back. Another way you can do it is that, say you don't want all of it in slow motion, but you want to use the duration feature. So go ahead and bring it to a spot where you want the slow motion to end. You can hit Control K, or you can cut the clip. And then you can take the clip that you do want to slow down, hit speed and duration again, go to 25%. And now you will have a slow motion piece, and then it'll cut right across. So with that, you can seamlessly go over from slow motion to full motion without any problem. So this is very useful. Let me show you another way that people do it, and this is probably the more popular way, although it takes a little bit more time to actually do. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the clip back all the way to its original state. So what you want to do is you want to highlight the video part of the clip, which is at the top. You right click on it, show clip frame key, you want time remapping, and then you want speed. In order to use this feature very easily, I highly recommend that you go ahead, take the clip and go ahead and drag it up so that the frame is actually a little bit larger. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to uncover this add remove keyframe. This is going to be essential to making the slow motion much easier to control. So let's go ahead and drag it to a spot that you actually want the slow motion to start at. And what we're going to do is we're going to select this button right here. What this is going to do is this is going to add a start marker to our slow motion. And then we're going to go ahead and then just drag it forward a little bit. And let's just say right there, we want the slow motion to end. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add another marker. So we have a start marker and we have an end marker. So inside of these 2 markers, what we can do is we can actually drag this line down, and this is going to start our slow motion. So we can drag it all the way down to 25%. And if we play that, as you can see, we went from full motion to slow motion, back to full motion again, and it was very nice and easy to do. Keep in mind though, when you actually do it this way with your markers, the sound does not stretch with your video. So what you'll notice is now at the end, because of that slow motion piece, your sound is actually out of sync with your video. So this is one of the downsides to using keyframes. It does allow you to add slow motion onto a clip without breaking the clip apart. Unfortunately, your sound is going to get out of sync and you're going to have to resolve the sound manually in order to get everything back in sync again. Just keep that in mind when you're actually working with slow motion in this particular manner. The last thing I want to show you is how to do a freeze frame, because occasionally you might want to do a freeze frame before the slow motion starts, which can be kind of cool. So I'm going to show that to you right now. So I'm going to drag a different clip onto the timeline, and then I'm just going to highlight an area where I want, let me go ahead and scale this up first, where I want the slow motion to start. So here is the podium shot that I got. I just want to part with the champagne. Let's say I want a freeze frame of this right here. So what you can come up here and do is you can actually say export frame. If you don't see this little photograph icon, you can come over here to the button editor, and then you can add the export frame. In the newest version of Adobe Premiere Pro, it's already on there, so you might not need to add it, but I'm going to hit cancel. And what I would recommend you do is you go ahead and cut the clip before you actually take the exported picture. When you hit that exported button, it's going to ask you what to name your picture. It's going to ask you the format that you want. Any of these will do. I'll select PNG. You also want to select where that picture is going to go into your file system. So I have it going into my work area. And one thing that you do want to select is you want to make sure that you import it into your project if you want to use it in your timeline. It's just going to save you some time instead of having to go out and find it and export it in yourself. And then you hit OK. And what you'll see over here on the project tab is that image will show up. You can go ahead and select your timeline again. You can add that image in, and you can go ahead and see the results. And as you can see, it's perfectly in sync. It freezes the frame, and then it'll go back. And then it'll go back into motion again, and it's all seamless. It's a really great feature. It's also a great feature if you want to actually cut out a thumbnail to use for your YouTube pictures. If you have a really sharp image, this is something a lot of YouTubers do, is that they'll go ahead and scrub through their video and they'll just find the perfect picture in which they can use for their thumbnails. If you're going to be in 4K, it's definitely going to be sharp enough for any type of thumbnails that you're going to use for YouTube. But it's a great way of doing it, and it saves you a lot of time instead of having to go out and take a picture just for your thumbnails. Definitely try it out. You might actually enjoy using this. I know since I've found this feature, I've used it several times, and it's definitely been a time saver for me. That's all I have to show for this week's Adobe Wednesday. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. And until next time, thank you so much for watching.